Welcome, one and all, to Pacific414 Pop Talk. I am your host, Mike, and tonight we're going to be talking about several items, one of them being Jeremy Renner, not Renner, but Jeremy Renner and Hawkeye. We're also going to be talking about some controversy surrounding Ghostbusters Afterlife, and also Kathleen Kennedy's reaction to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I hope you're all doing well on this Thanksgiving Eve. I know a lot of you might be traveling on this evening, or if you already traveled throughout the day, you've reached your destination. Well, I hope that tomorrow's a plentiful Thanksgiving feast for you and you have a lot to be thankful for. I know I do. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get underway. It was about a week ago where Netflix pulled Star Trek Discovery from their listings on their service in the UK and several other international countries. And there was a lot of outrage on Twitter about how the fan, the international region, would not be able to watch Star Trek Discovery's season premiere. Now, it wouldn't be the first time a Star Trek series has been pulled from a service, or in the first case, a network, and it was up to the fans to write a petition or get their voices out and write a letter campaign to get that show renewed. Now, as a lot of you who are regulars here on the channel already know, I am no fan of Star Trek Discovery. I'm no fan of Star Trek Picard. I could, care less for Lower Decks, and I am probably not going to be watching Strange New Worlds. But for you international viewers who enjoy Star Trek Discovery, even for those of you here in the United States who enjoy Star Trek Discovery, well, then you got some good news. You got some good news today, especially if you're an international viewer of Star Trek Discovery. Let me put it up on screen here. And this was released, like I said earlier today. It says, to all of the international Star Trek Discovery fans, we hear you. We love the series too. We love it for the incredible cast, the hardworking crew, the imaginative storytelling, the groundbreaking, diverse characters who bring the show to life. Well, honestly, Star Trek already had groundbreaking, diverse characters even before Discovery. And what it represents to so many people around the world. Star Trek has always put its fans first. Therefore, during this transition, we are doing everything we can to get the new season to you as soon as possible. For information on where to find the Star Trek Discovery, go to StarTrek.com. And then it goes on to say, we are incredibly proud of Discovery. And it looks like I got somebody here. Hail to you, Green Lantern.
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Not much, not much. Welcome to Pop Talk, where I talk about the latest pop culture news and everything that's going around. And
Nice.
we also just, shoot the breeze.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. That's why I put the invite in part of my server for anybody that's on the server or anybody, who's curious,
Yep.
wants to come on. So, what I was talking about to begin with is Star Trek Discovery's international fan base actually being able to see it. Paramount Plus announced today that starting Friday on Pluto in some countries, and on Paramount Plus, they'll be able to start watching season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. Now, as many folks know who have tuned into this channel, they know that I'm no fan of Kurtzman Trek. Never have been, and I'm not seeing anything that's going to make me become a fan of it overnight. But for those in the international viewing audience, there you go. You get your Star Trek. I still have mine. You get yours. So how's your day been, Green Lantern?
Pretty good. Just working on stuff and working on the channel. Kind of took the week off a little bit. But it's actually been kind of nice that I've been streaming for I think 3 weeks now,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into it. But it's been nice to be able to take a few days off. So yeah,
Yep, I completely understand that. Sometimes you just need to
yeah,
take a break.
yeah.
So, is there any news story that you've seen that you want to talk about tonight?
Uh, uh, to be honest, I've been so focused on my own channel that I'm like I see stuff on Echo Base and that community and what people in there are doing, and so as far as the whole Kathleen Kennedy contract gets renewed thing, I don't know. It seems kind of so her contract gets renewed, but um Brian Johnson's trilogy is canceled, as far as I know.
As far as we know, it's been canceled until they say otherwise.
So I'm like those two. I mean, she seemed to be on board with that whole thing. So I'm like, maybe it won't be as bad as people think it would be. Because I mean, if she's if I mean, if they're going full woke, it would seem like they wouldn't cancel his trilogy. And I'm like, maybe it's not as bad as everyone's going to think it is.
Well, what's also interesting is a few days ago, I had seen an article and they were talking about possibly, having Knights of the Old Republic turned into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's all these rumors going around right now. You don't know what's the truth and
Yeah,
what's just fiction.
yeah. I've I've never like I remember back in when after Force Awakens came out, and everybody and their dog had a theory about um who Snoke was, and me, I'm just like, I just think he's Snoke.
So you
um,
don't feel that he's a clone that was created by Palpatine or any other idea? You think that he's his own character and
I'm like, I mean, I mean, to be totally honest, he never really did anything for me. I mean, for people that like him, cool. That's your thing. But I'm like, for me, I still remember seeing him, like, the first time I saw Force Awakens in the theater, I was like, what's the deal with the guy in the bathrobe? I'm like, I'm sorry. It was. I mean, this is just me.
oh,
it was kind of a
Warp Core
letdown.
Breach. Spoken Patriot, welcome, sir. Everything all right?
Hey.
What's going on, dude?
Yeah, I don't know how long I'll be on for, but I figure I'm feeling well enough, so I'll go as long as I can.
All right,
Nice.
brother. I don't know if you met Green Lantern 345 before.
I have not, but it's good to make your acquaintance, Green Lantern.
You too. Love the audio icon.
Yeah, that's a custom one, and somebody did. They were working on building up a portfolio, so they were taking any custom requests, and I'm like,
Oh,
I
nice.
want it to be patriotic with a cigar and a
Right.
bald eagle,
Nice.
and it has to say "Common Sense America." I just gave him that, and he did the rest.
Nice. That's cool. But I was like, yeah, I was like, as far as theories and rumors or whatever, honestly, I never paid much attention to them because it just seems like I'm not going to say all of them. Um, I'm not going to say all of them, didn't come true, but it just seems like, it's a rumor.
Yeah.
There's, if it was solid, there'd be more, confirmation or whatever. But I'm like, okay, it's just a rumor. I don't really put much weight to it. I mean, if it turns out to be true, then I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, even Doomcock himself, when he's putting up his video, he says that this is a rumor. Take it with a
Yeah,
grain of salt. He doesn't claim it to be fact. He says
yeah,
it's rumor.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how you feel about Doomcock, and of course, Patriot, you and I have talked about it, but you know, the man does good content, and the man does cover his butt by saying this is rumor.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't ever fault sorry. I don't ever fault Doomcock for he does his research, he covers his bases. Um and the problem I've always had is the people who listen to Doomcock and they just take it as that's God's word. That's if you read,
Hmm.
John 3:16 from the Bible. They spread that to other channels. And I've seen this firsthand that
Hmm.
other creators have gotten into arguments with people and they're like, well, Doomcock said this, and they're like, what? So they keep speaking as if Doomcock is saying these things that are 100% concrete facts, even though Doomcock
Hmm.
always says take it with a either small or a enormous uh, grain of salt. Doomcock always says that it's the people who listen to that go into other channels and spread it as if it's a fact.
Hmm.
That's the problem, and that's where that whole Ryan Cannell Doomcock thing exploded because I've seen it in Jeremy's, Ryan's, and Drunk 3PO. I've seen it in all three of their streams. People coming in there in the chat and blowing up the chat and with all this stuff, saying, "Yo, Doomcock said this, Doomcock said that, and this is happening, this is happening," and they were creating trouble in the chat. But I don't
Yeah.
blame Doomcock for that. I blame the people. Unfortunately, when Ryan Cannell starts going after Doomcock's followers because they're causing troubles for him and other creators, it unfortunately there was no good situation. And I think some people were purposefully trying to cause division amongst creators at the end of the day.
Hmm.
That's what
It
I
wouldn't
think.
surprise me, to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
it wouldn't.
Jealousy, it's powerful.
Yeah. And I guess yeah, I mean, I get people being jealous of other content creators. Okay, now that you mentioned jealousy, I just gotta put my 2 cents in. When Jay got Gina on his channel, I was like, I heard a lot of people were mad at him because like, oh my god, you got Jay Grant on your channel. What's so special about you? I'm like, you know what? Good for you, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I'm like, if I mean, shoot, I get like what 39 subscribers right now, and I've only been streaming for I don't know, 3 weeks or so, and so but I'm like, if there was someone that I really wanted to get on my channel, and then someone else that had like I don't know 10 or like 2 subscribers or whatever, they just started and they got like some they got like freaking John Williams or whatever on their channel. I would I'd be like, you know what? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, tonight, Spock's Friday Nights is streaming right now, doing his Trek Talk show. and he's had me on his channel several times. Well, that red alert sound I was hearing in my headphones was because I had the audio on his channel on, because I'm still trying to give him support, even though I'm doing my thing right now, because we've
Yep.
done things together. I want to give him my support still.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of person I am.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, like I've told you and Chaos in the past, Pacific. I've been burned by people who said they were friends and whatnot, and then out of the blue, they just blew up on me, and then started talking all this shit and lying about me behind my back to all our friends. So they pretty much isolated me, and it was for no reason. But the thing is, I still kept supporting them for a bit, and then once the rumors and lies got out of hand, I'm like, nope, I'm sorry, I gotta cut it. I gotta cut it. I can't keep supporting somebody who's gonna do that to me.
Yeah.
I don't
you
hate the
shouldn't.
guy. I think he's an asshole, but I don't hate the guy. But I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. As creators, we should have each other's backs, unless there's true irreconcilable yes, unless there's those kinds of differences.
Yeah, I mean, we're not always going to agree on, what we like on TV or a movie, a book. Politics, of course, you don't ever want to discuss politics. That's just taking you down a road you don't want to travel. But, if we can come to a mutual...
I'm ready to discuss politics.
If this were a political channel, I'd say yes, but I try to keep politics out of it as best I can.
Unfortunately, politics nowadays has infiltrated everything.
Yeah.
So it's hard to truly keep out of it 100%.
But I got a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know about Ruby Rose and how she was fired from Batwoman, and now she's coming out with allegations against the CW. It's a he said, she said, we said, they said type of thing.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I mean, Ruby Rose to me never did anything for me. There's only 2 roles I ever liked her in. One of them was in John Wick 2, because she was a mute. So literally, she had 0 actual lines. She just communicated in sign language a handful of times. And then the third XXX movie, she was like a master sniper. Like, she actually did that role pretty well as like a badass sniper. But aside from that, I've never thought she was the best thing since sliced bread,
Well, she announced a few days ago that she is going to be leaving Hollywood. And I found this article on popculture.com. This article is by Alyssa Risk, and it says Ruby Rose makes major career decision after a Batwoman controversy and allegations. And it goes on to say, following the allegations made about the situation on the Batwoman set, Ruby Rose is taking a break from Hollywood. The Daily Mail reports that the Orange is the New Black star is returning to her home country of Australia and will retreat to her old stopping grounds for the summer. Okay, so in other words, she's saying, see ya, Hollywood, and chances are she may not be back. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, not to go down any political route or anything, but the way Australia's handling people entering and exiting the country, that might be quite literal. Her may never being able to leave and come back.
Well, that is why I'm saying that. I'm just trying to, walk that tightrope.
Yeah, I know. It's just, Yeah.
It may not have been the smoothest way of doing it, but
You know what? It's cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag. So.
Anyways, it says
so,
on. Go ahead,
I'm
Green Army.
sorry. The first. Now, see, here's the thing. I have to preface this with. I still remember the first time I saw the what was it, Batwoman trailer or whatever, like the very first one, and I'm just like, see, it takes a lot for me to come out and say, that I don't like a movie or I think it's rotten. This is after everybody that said that if you don't like Ghostbusters 2016 you're an istophobe. I'm like, no, I didn't like Ghostbusters 2016 because it sucked.
Yeah,
it's
that's the truth.
It's almost like, don't try to make me like your stuff by saying if you don't like it you're blah 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 blah. And so I'm like, I saw the trailer for Batwoman, and I'm like, I think it was something along the lines of basically taking a huge dump on Batman, saying he ditched Gotham, basically, and, okay, now I have to come in and step in and do what no man can do. I'm just like, this is
One of the
going to be
lines
a
from the
dumpster
show
fire.
was, "The suit will be great when it fits a woman." It's like,
Oh,
really?
good Lord.
Oh, come on.
Like, it's, for anybody that says, oh, you're just, you're just a cis white male, you don't like the strong women. I'm like, for one, I loved Alita Battle Angel. I loved Wonder Woman, the first one. And I actually liked Rey in Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Oh my God, you like Last Jedi and Wonder Woman. And so I was like, I'm fine with a strong female lead as long as it's done good. I'm like, because newsflash, gee, guys don't like to be treated like garbage either. Who knew?
Well, it's something that people would know if they had any real world experience, that nobody,
Right?
regardless of gender, likes to be treated like crap.
Right? No, really?
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I've heard it said by many a YouTuber, when it comes to a strong woman, they think that they have to denigrate men and tear them down in movies to make the female amazing. Last I checked, look at Leia from the original trilogy. Look at Ripley. Look at Sarah Connor. Okay, Sarah Connor wasn't outdoing the Terminator. Okay, the Terminator was being badass in his own way, but Sarah Connor was being a badass in her own way, but they didn't take away from each other. In fact, they played off each other at times. So that's something that Hollywood, to me, that's where they're going with this whole feminist, trying to force this agenda down into movies, is they feel like they have to lower men to raise a woman, when we've seen plenty of time you can have a strong man and a strong woman and they complement each other within a movie and it works and it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, one of my favorite parts of Wonder Woman was when the spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen Wonder Woman, in the alley when the two guys started shooting at like her and Steve. Steve was trying to do the gentlemanly thing and protect her, and she gets out and like freaking blocks the bullets with her gauntlets, and he's like, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you. Do that. And it was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there wasn't anything being shoved down our throats, and that's a
Yeah.
great movie. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I do every Saturday over on Twitch, over the Barricade podcast with Quidman Jenkins, is we talk about All Elite Wrestling every Saturday at 3:00. And that's 3:00 Eastern. And yes, I am plugging it right now. But since I'm one of the co-hosts, I figured why not? But anyways, Wonder Woman was on before All Elite Wrestling started tonight. And I was watching a little bit before the show, so I could at least have an hour basis of what was going on in the first hour. I'll watch the second hour probably tomorrow sometime. But Wonder Woman was on. I watched it and I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 1984.
Uh,
Oh, that's a misstep.
no comment.
I didn't see it, and I never wanted to see it. I felt like it was pointless.
Though,
Because you kind of broke the whole mold when you go between the first Wonder Woman to technically Batman versus Superman, but if you don't want to do that, I want to at least do Justice League. But Batman versus Superman is the first time we see Wonder Woman. So in that time frame, Diana had not done anything. She had just lived a very quiet life and not gotten involved in the affairs of men. What the hell? Why did you just totally defy that with 1984?
Yeah.
That's a question I was asking myself. That's a question everybody was asking who watched the movie when it was on HBO Max last December. It's like, okay, this completely contradicts the first movie. It completely contradicts Batman v Superman. It's like you guys can't even keep your own story straight. And they're not the only ones. Star Trek Discovery can't do it. There's a lot of shows and movies that can't do it nowadays.
Oh.
And getting back to strong female characters, I'll always go back to them because they were strong, independent female characters, but they were likable. Jadzia Dax and Kira Nerys on DS9.
Mm-hmm.
They were very likable characters, but they had that side to them that said, okay, it's time to handle business. And they handled business.
Yeah.
I mean, the episode Blood Oath, where Jadzia feeling obligated to fulfill the blood oath that Curzon Dax said he would honor with Kirk and Kane and Koloff, just wanting to do that. It showed what kind of integrity that character had. And of course, when she had to prove to those 3 Klingons that she was, Curzon Dax through the symbiote, the story itself paid off. They go to the planet, they find the albino, and then Kane gets, to kill the albino because the albino killed the son, and Kane gets his revenge before he dies. Sorry if it's a spoiler for anyone who's never watched DS9, but you've really got to watch DS9. It's a great show. But Kira and Dax were always strong characters. They weren't forced down our throats.
No.
We were introduced to them, and we got to know them as the series went on. No, unfortunately, Jadzia died at the season finale of season 6, but that's because Terry Farrell wanted out of her contract, wanted to leave the show, and the writers decided, well, instead of leaving her character alive, we'll just kill her off. Yeah.
I mean, it really is the yeah. There was only 2 ways that character was leaving. They were either leaving with grace or they were leaving in a body bag.
Oh yeah.
Like unfortunately, that's the only two options that we ever get as fans.
Unfortunately, I mean, we don't get any other options.
Yeah.
I mean, when Rey was introduced in The Force Awakens, I was thinking, okay, this character has potential. Unfortunately, like so many things, the ball was dropped. No, I'm not here to hate on Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love the original trilogy. Empire will always be my movie. Of the original trilogy, Empire is my favorite. Now, the prequels, Revenge of the Sith. Okay, so maybe I just like Vader.
I'm a Maul guy personally, but that's just me.
No.
Maybe I'm just a big fan of Lord Vader.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, I had to do it. Okay, you guys could say you didn't have to do it, Mike. You chose to do it.
I was gonna say, yeah, nobody's got a gun to your head, you know.
Oh.
you sure? Sure they didn't point a phaser to my head?
Or, well, I mean, this could be Inglourious Bastards where he's got the gun pointed at his ding dong, you know.
Yeah.
Stiglitz, I'll be to you Nazis.
Oh gosh, that's a great movie.
I'm not a massive fan of Tarantino's work, but that is one of the movies I can rewatch of his over and over again.
So, speaking of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy talks emotional Obi-Wan Kenobi reunion and teases future plans for sequel characters.
See, it's stuff like this that makes me. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm excited about Andor, Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan, and then stuff like this comes out, and I'm just like, please don't be woke. Please don't be woke. I'm like, I can't even imagine the kind of. I'm just gonna say right now, if they screw up Obi-Wan, that could be it. Like you make Obi-Wan woke like at all, shoot, that's I'm just gonna say right now, the backlash for Last Jedi would look tame compared to that.
Yep.
Well, The Last Jedi and Solo, and Rise of Skywalker. I mean, that was just like you want to talk about, Larry, Moe, and Curly. I mean, those three movies just were, dear God. I mean,
hey, Knucklehead, what do you got against Larry, Moe, and Curly?
I got nothing, Mo. I got nothing.
All right. Just so you know,
I grew up on those, by the way. Okay, I grew up on Three Stooges.
That's part of what Pop Talk is. We start talking about topics, and then we get a little silly. It's just to help lighten the mood.
We need
help
to
everyone relax,
right?
Like what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago when StreamYards was having those issues and Alice Eve came to our rescue.
It was StreamYards that was having issues. It was Melon having issues, and thank God for Alice Eve.
Oh God! You know what? I should write Alice Eve a thank you letter and just send it to her.
Yes, I was doing a live stream with a buddy of mine, and you saved the stream.
With that photo of you in your underwear, Star Trek Into Darkness. It was the only high point to our entire 2-hour stream.
Tomorrow lied. Help me, Alice Eve. You're our only hope.
Seriously. And then she just shows up. You see a hologram of her in her underwear. She's like, "Yes, do you mind? Oh, yes, hello. Obi-Wan's like, I'm feeling things I've not felt in a long time.
Yeah, you're not the other one.
No. Luke, that's the first woman I think I've ever seen before.
Okay, I don't. Get on topic. Get on topic. But come
Stay
on.
on target.
I just want to let anyone in the audience know, of course, you're new to Pop Talk Green Lantern, that on here we're relaxed. We have fun. We enjoy it. But this article goes on to say Kathleen Kennedy talks emotional Obi-Wan Kenobi reunion and teases future plans for sequel characters. What, did she have a cry with Michael Burnham?
Should come on my channel sometime.
It says Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy shares insight into the experience of seeing Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen reunite on the set of Obi-Wan Kenobi while teasing the future of other characters. Well, I'm just going to come out and say this. I do not want to see another lightsaber duel between Vader and Obi-Wan. I don't want to see it. There's only two that are in existence. In Revenge of the Sith, on Mustafar, and in Star Wars, on the Death Star. Those are the only two. And hail to you, Alan Copeland. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. All right. So it says there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding the future of the Star Wars franchise on the big screen, but things are looking a little brighter on the TV side of things, thanks to Disney Plus. Next year, we'll see the launch of Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, a series we know is going to reunite Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. And it says the thing that was most exciting was being on set and watching the two of them get excited. Kennedy said. They hadn't seen each other in a long time. I was surprised at just how incredibly emotional it was for each of them to find themselves back in these roles, and just realizing how important Star Wars was to each of them. It was the beginning of their careers. Well, it's important to all of us. But unfortunately, there are things that are happening that, some fans are starting to lose interest because of those things. I'm not going to go into, a long tangent of what they are, but they're recent events. There's a certain somebody who's spoken out about a recent current event and the result of this recent current event that may turn some people off of Star Wars. In particular, this Star Wars series that, I don't know, is it going to get a third season or not? It says it's possible Kevin Feige or Taika Waititi's Star Wars movies will revisit the sequel characters, but regardless of what the current plan is, there are definitely more stories for Lucasfilm to tell with the new trilogy. It says, after all, Emperor Palpatine, and I hate it when it does this, may have been defeated, but we still don't know what became of Rey after she dubbed herself a Skywalker. She's a Palpatine. She's a Palpatine.
She's a Palpatine. Palpatine won in the end. Anyone that says Rey is the best ever, oh my God, she's the most powerful, she's the best. Yeah, guess what happened also? Okay,
Mikey Spock is told she's the bestest ever too.
I'm trying not to go on a tirade. I don't even know if I have the energy for it, but I might have to drum it up. But I'm holding it. The rise of mother effing Sky. Okay. So Green Lantern, check this out.
Yeah.
My best friend and I, okay, we're like brothers. We've known each other since we were 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He and I made a pact. We were going to see the entire new trilogy together. For whether it was amazing or whether we literally wanted to commit seppuku, we were seeing it all the way through to the end. First movie, we both nearly walked out after the Han scene. Second movie, we just shook our heads and were like, what the hell is this? The third movie, we watched all the way through, dead silent. We get out into the parking lot, and the first thing he says is, I really wish I had some damn hair right now so I could just rip it all out and be bald again.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I did when I was watching The Force Awakens and Han died?
What?
I flipped the bird at the screen.
I was kind of more in like belief where it was like, did they actually kill him off? Like, you actually did this. Like I get if Han Solo wanted Han to die and all that. Like I get that, but have him go out the Han Solo way, barrel smoking, blaster. He's got all these blaster hits on him. He's holding off a God knows how many stormtroopers, telling everyone to go, and like the barrel end of his blaster is just red hot. Like it's almost like molten slag because he's been blasting away with it. Like give him a death befitting of Han Solo, not come here, son. Here, let me help you kill me.
I remember that scene in Force Awakens, and I can still remember that's the first time I ever cosplayed, and I think it was, I don't know if it was a security guard or mall security or something. When I walked out of the theater, like somebody like that asked me, how was it? And I didn't want to give anything away, but I forgot what I said. But I was just like, I didn't want to say I hated it, but I would, because I didn't want to give anything away for him. And I forget what I said, but I remember that I'm like, I saw what they did to Han, and sup Star Wars guys, how's it hanging? I saw what they did to Han, and I still remember sitting in the theater. I'm like, I don't like this movie anymore. I was like, and then now see, this is me. I'm like, for the longest time, I was like, until I see a funeral, Han's not dead. I'm like, he fell off the side of a bridge. There's no body. We didn't see him die. We saw him fall. So I was like, I was pissed. I was like, you kill off one of the best characters in the Star Wars galaxy. You better have a pretty darn good reason for killing off freaking Han Solo. And I'm just like, yeah. So that was me. And I was just, I think I still didn't like it, but I'm like, it's a funny thing. I mean, I liked Force Awakens, I liked Last Jedi, didn't like Episode 9, even like the first time I saw it, I'm just like, the whole, be with me, be with me, be with me. They're not with me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow. No, neither is the script. Oh my gosh! I'm like, I tried, and after seeing Mandalorian, just the first season of Mandalorian, I'm like, from that opening, like the opening, type of thing. I'm like,
Yeah, the opening theme.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Star Wars. This is coming from someone I saw Last Jedi twice within 24 hours of opening day, and I loved it. And then I saw Mandalorian season 1 because that dropped. I think that dropped like before episode 9, and I saw how much better the dialogue was, and I'm like, dang, this could have been so much better. And instead, we got you get a movie, you get a movie, you get a movie. So,
Well, that's how they announced it at first. It's like, we're going to have a Boba Fett movie. We're going to have an Obi-Wan movie. We're going to have a lightsaber movie.
Yeah.
You know, instead of Toy Story, it's called Lightsaber.
I mean, that does sound about right.
Yeah, so I'm never one. I mean, it takes a lot for me to say anything bad about a movie. It's got to be like freaking Super Mario Brothers from the '90s bad before I'll even say anything.
Well,
I got one.
I got
one way worse than that right now. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about that one.
I saw that opening night, and actually I got a preview showing because I worked at a movie theater at the time. So one of the managers, who was a little bit of a nerd, me, and then about 7, 8 others, because the preview showings was we basically saw the whole movie, but we got to watch. But the reason why we all watched it is that it was like a quality control, made sure that it ran through properly. There were no issues. So basically, you ran the risk of getting a really shitty experience.
Yeah.
That only happened one time out of maybe 30 preview showings that I saw.
You were the guinea pig.
Pretty much, yeah. And we saw that, and then so we're all walking out, and everyone's talking and whatnot, and I'm just in total disbelief of what I actually just saw, because I watched Dragon Ball Z since I was 7, 8 years old. So you're talking 25, 26 years of my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been a Dragon Ball Z fan. Yep. So you want to talk about pissing me off.
You know, you say that, and I'm surprised you and Chaos haven't been talking about Dragon Ball Z over and over again while we're playing War Thunder.
Well, let's just be fair. Whenever we're on War Thunder, it's not so much about, like talking about Dragon Ball Z or whatnot. It's about how much we're going to violate that, and also how we're going to violate the other tank in various ways that I will not say on YouTube.
No. Let's just say we do a lot of damage.
We do a lot of damage, and we talk a lot of smack. Sometimes those two coincide.
I remember I remember renting Dragon Ball Evolution from my I borrowed Dragon Ball Evolution from my library, and I'm like, I never really got into Dragon Ball Z, but I knew the show and some of the characters and whatnot, and I watched it a little bit, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, oh, okay. This doesn't feel like Dragon Ball Z. This is coming from like a casual fan. I'm like, okay, sure. I guess I want to like it, but what happened?
It was so bad, and the worst part is, you can go online and find fan films that are way better.
Yeah, Chaos has shown me several that are a lot better than that movie.
Oh,
I'm beginning to think that I'm like, see, this is why I'm more excited about making my my own, fan films, my own original content, because I'm just like, we're not trying to. I don't know what it is. I mean, lately it seems like everything is going woke, and even like a little bit, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and I'm like, it just feels like they're running out of ideas, so they're like, okay, which franchise can we reboot and ruin? AKA Lord of the Rings on Amazon.
I was going to talk about that tonight because I saw a new article on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like a big Lord of the Rings fan. I actually like the Hobbit trilogy. I know, shocking surprise. And
No, I liked it too. You're not alone. Was it as good as the
Got it right here.
original?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the original, but it was pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. I got the extended edition for got the extended edition for that, and when when I heard they were the new series is going woke, I'm like, oh come on. What's the new formula? Take old franchise that we like and wokeify it?
Look at Masters of the Universe. That's exactly what they did.
So don't even get me started.
I've reviewed part 1. I'm not going to review part 2, but from what I've seen from other videos, it's like more the same. I'm glad I didn't get suckered in twice.
Yeah. I'm like, as I find myself saying this more, I don't do horror.
Yeah, there's one franchise that I know they won't touch because there's no relevance for it like there was back in the day. Sequest. Because remember when Sequest came out, it was basically like Star Trek but under the seas. That's kind of like the way it was touted.
It was cutting edge back then in the 90s.
I'm gonna laugh if they use that one next.
No, here's the thing. I don't think they will because that came out when Star Trek was a big deal still. Like the 90s was Star Trek's territory.
Yeah, it was Star Trek's golden age.
Yeah. And so that's when Sequest came out. But here's the thing. Nowadays, to do Sequest, it would have to be ultra woke. And remember, in Sequest, they didn't eat meat. They were vegetarians because raising livestock was seen as damaging the environment. So everyone was vegans because and see, I didn't know this in the show when I was young until this one episode. One of the guys gets his hands on premium chuck roast ground beef.
Hello.
And he takes a signed baseball bat, whittles it down into a little thing, and literally makes a burger in his thing. Okay?
Wow.
And the captain smells it. So he goes, he's like, meat's not allowed, right? And because you don't really see them eating a whole lot in the show.
No.
And then there was another episode where the captain goes to meet with a lot of the big wigs, like the Admiralty and the president and whatnot, and they're eating like ham, brisket, corned beef, all this stuff, and he's like, "But what? Why are you eating meat when no one else is allowed to eat meat because we've said it's bad for the environment because of all the livestock producing all the CO2 gases and it was so." You could really go ultra woke if you redid Sequest, like way worse than Discovery ever could.
Yeah, but
I know.
In the 90s, when they were going on about different current events and going on about things that were at the time very important, they didn't shove it down your throat like they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Planet for one. I remember watching Captain Planet when I was a kid. Did I just conjure
the power is yours?
I actually like that cartoon.
I still remember that.
Did you just see Don Cheadle in a green face?
Yes.
After I saw that video on YouTube, that's all I could see. Oh, there's Don Cheadle.
That's
My
well, to
apologies.
me, that's all Captain. To me, that just epitomized what Captain Planet was. I mean, that was if Captain Planet was truly in real life, and he's like, you know what, humans are the actual problem here. Like, I can do everything I can to save the planet, but at the end of the day, humans are still going to do whatever they want to it. So at the end of the day, I need to wipe out humanity. Like, I'm like, wow, this is taking Captain Planet to a whole. I know it's meant for comedy, but
Well, that got dark quick.
yeah, he just starts killing off like every human, and he keeps the one guy around, and he doesn't even really explain why. He's like, I'm gonna
Captain
keep you
Planet
around.
just turned Skynet. Captain Planet just turned Skynet.
Oh my god!
I'm
Freaking
gonna
Captain
laugh
Planet.
if they do that next. And Don Cheadle is the main character or whatever. if they go and make, what was it, Sequest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they do that, and or Captain Planet, I'm almost kind of challenging them. If anyone is watching that, do it. I'll make a special stream that's like, oh my gosh! Hey, we got this idea from some YouTubers, back in the day. So I think it'd be pretty good if we make it super woke and make it awful channel. Make sure Don Cheadle's green, y'all. That's important.
All right. You okay, Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Okay. On another note, Disney Plus Ahsoka series cast Natasha Liu Bordizzo, I hope I'm saying that right, as Sabine Wren. The Mandalorian warrior will join Ahsoka in the upcoming series. Well, no duh. No duh.
See.
No duh.
Okay.
They didn't watch Rebels. They didn't watch the season finale, or the series finale, I should say, of Rebels.
No, actually,
of course she joins Ahsoka.
Yeah, like she joins. Yeah, but like.
Hell, Leia Rose, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
What's going on, Leia?
Oh boy, I'll read the article. Don't worry. I may not read much of it, but I'll read it. I may get to the point, and just to let everybody know, you guys on the panel, you guys stopping by here live, you guys and gals stopping by here, after the live stream, let me just say, if I start giving this look as I'm reading the article and just going, no, that's going to give you a hint that article. All right, so it says, and yeah, this is by IGN. It's by Matt Kim. It was released a few days ago. But it says Disney Plus is slowly stacking the cast for its upcoming Star Wars series Ahsoka, alongside Rosario Dawson's titular character. Now, this is a serious question, because we know that there's a certain group of people who aren't too keen on Rosario Dawson. How long do you think Rosario Dawson's even going to have the title role of Ahsoka? Serious question.
I mean, they were pretty tight in Rebels. I don't know, honestly. I could see it going. Honestly, I could see it going quite a bit because they were pretty tight, as far as I remember.
Yep.
Um,
But anyways, unfortunately, the Spoken Patriot had to leave, but I always appreciate him coming back.
yep.
But in this article, it says Disney Plus is slowly stacking the cast for its upcoming Star Wars series Ahsoka alongside Rosario Dawson, titular character. Natasha Liu Bordizzo has been cast as Sabine Wren from the animated Star Wars Rebel series. It says, according to Deadline, Lou Bordizzo has been cast in a lead role opposite Dawson's Ahsoka, meaning Sabine Wren could feature prominently in the upcoming live-action series. Oh, I would think so. I mean, if you go by that final episode of Rebels alone, I would think those would be your two main characters, Ahsoka and Sabine. I could be wrong, especially with the way the entertainment business is, but
The one it's see some stuff like this. I'm more hopeful with because Dave and John are kind of in charge of it. So I'm like, it's I could see her playing a prominent role, but maybe not always because there's others. I mean, there's. I mean, did they confirm Thrawn yet? I forget.
not that I've heard. But
Okay,
there's a lot of
but I mean,
rumors and speculation that they're going to cast somebody to play Ezra, they're going to cast somebody to play Thrawn, but there's nothing
yeah,
concrete.
yeah. I mean, I would, in my opinion, it would be kind of dumb if they didn't, because I mean, she mentioned, she's looking for Thrawn, and she mentioned, where's Thrawn in Mando, and I could, if they do have Ezra in there, that would be cool. If like, start out with Ahsoka and Sabine, and then they kind of have a little mini Rebels. I don't want to say reunion, but like maybe there's an episode or something where it's just Ezra and Sabine, um, off doing something. But I think they got to make room for like some of the other. I guess you could say bigger characters in there, but I mean, one, she's a Mandalorian, and they're gonna. I've heard that they're gonna try and tie, all this up together. So yeah, or she could be doing stuff. Ooh, could be doing stuff with Din and trying to take back Mandalore.
True. And, another thing we don't know much about yet is because we've only seen one trailer for it, is the Book of Boba Fett. We don't know where that's going to lead.
What if Sabine went dark?
True.
That'd
That
be
would be
interesting.
interesting.
I mean, how long's it been? It's been a while since I've seen the end of the Rebels. How long's it been? Like they went off and if you haven't seen Rebels, mute it for like a minute. Uh, um, they went off looking for Ezra.
Yeah, they
So
left
they're
Lothal, and
yep.
because we got that little narration by, oh god, her name's slipping my mind all at the moment. Gosh, oh god, I hate it when my mind does this.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
What's her character's
Hera,
name?
Hera.
Oh,
We get the
yep,
narration. It just took a little while, but Hera
yep,
gives that narration saying that Rex fought on Endor, and of course, she had a son. We know who the father is. You know, it was Kanan. But
yep.
the last we see is Ahsoka's ship, which is being escorted by some fighters, land. Sabine's looking at the drawing that she did of, the whole Ghost crew together, and then she and Ahsoka go on that ship, and they even say, "We're going to look for Ezra."
Yeah, and that was. Do we know how many? I mean, that was at. That was like. When did that end? Was that before episode 4 that Rebels ended?
No, because they mentioned the battle on Endor, so
Oh, right. Oh,
it's
so,
actually
oh,
after
yeah.
Return of the Jedi.
Okay. So it's okay. So it's not as much of a gap, but I mean it's still
It's still a decent gap.
yeah. I mean that's a good. I mean shoot, there was how many years between episode 1 and episode 2? What was it, 10?
I think it was 10 years. I could be
And
wrong.
all that happened. I mean shoot, freaking 7 seasons of Clone Wars happened between 3 and 4.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, they could. There's a lot they could do with that. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, Sabine, I could see her playing a prominent role or having. So I think it'd be cool to have kind of a mixture of both of her and Ahsoka doing some stuff, and then she goes off to um, help take back Mandalore and kind of a combination of the two. So that could be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool, and hopefully they do it in such a way where it's believable. But you know, I've been also wondering, with Ezra being with Thrawn, will Thrawn be, that dark side influence that
Hmm.
turns Ezra to the dark side?
I don't know. Thrawn never struck me as he struck me as like cold, calculating, and not. I wouldn't say I'm on the same level as Vader, like kind of dark,
Mhm.
but he was more. He was really cunning and like really cunning, really smart, and very good tactician and all that. Um, but not like not like Palpatine dark. So he was just he was struck me more cold.
Yeah, I can see that, and plus, he was more interested in collecting treasures.
Yep.
But
No.
go ahead.
No. I know. It's been a little while, but I read. It might have been the first Thrawn book where he was more about, hey, I heard I heard good things about that channel. The guy's a little crazy, but yeah, you know, might be worth a view.
I think it is.
um, yeah, he seemed more. Like I said, it's been a while since I read the book, but it seemed more um like he was out to help his like help a species out rather than just rule the galaxy.
Yeah. I mean, another thing is he wanted to stay in the good graces of the Emperor for sure. I just have to
Yeah.
fix that.
Um, I did think he was really when I saw him in Rebels. I did honestly.
I mean,
At the,
he was
at the
cunning. He was.
yeah. At the risk of sounding sacrilegious, I almost thought he was a better villain than Vader.
He was. I
I,
thought he was more of a threat.
yeah. I mean, I saw him when I first saw him in Rebels. I mean, the guy was, you could tell just by like his demeanor and his, um, just the way he talked was like very, how do I say it? He was very focused, or you know, um, thank you though. Really appreciate that.
Not a problem.
I always thought he was like thinking 10 moves ahead, you know, um, like thinking 10 moves ahead, and just really provided a good challenging villain for the rebels, as opposed to, I mean, I mean, stormtroopers get a lot of slack sometimes, because they don't shoot, they can't shoot anything. But I'm like, what are they gonna have them do? Kill off the main characters?
No,
And then,
you don't want to do that because then you
yeah,
don't have a series.
right. So it's, I don't know, but it was Thrawn felt so. It's like, the when I mean, I know it's kind of a joke or whatever, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything, but I'm like, they're not gonna have some random stormtrooper, kill off Han. They had Kylo do that. but it's but with Thrawn, it felt like, wow, this guy's really good, and they're like, you put up a really good fight.
Yeah. And someone like him, he has all this training that he's received from the Empire, so we know that he can fight. But just the fact that he, you know, can basically imagine that chessboard in his mind and already be several moves ahead of his opponent, that that speaks to his character. Now, I
Yeah.
haven't read the Timothy Zahn books. I want to,
Okay.
but from what I keep hearing from people is I should pick up, the trilogy and start reading them.
I I read well, I mean, I read them on audiobook. I read Thrawn. I think I might have read all three, but I think I read Thrawn and Thrawn Alliances. I forget if there was another one, but yeah, he was very cold and calculating.
Yeah. And, getting back to this article here, it goes on to say Sabine Wren is a Mandalorian warrior first introduced in Star Wars Rebels. She is a member of the Ghost Crew alongside Captain Hera Syndulla, Kanan Jarrus, Ezra Bridger, and Zeb. I'm just going to call him Zeb. And it says at the end of Rebels, and this is just touching on what we had already said. At the end of Rebels, she left with Ahsoka to search for Ezra, which could set up how Ren will show up on Ahsoka, given the two characters' shared history. See, now in that sentence alone, it says it's setting up how she could show up on Ahsoka. No, we already know how she's going to show up. Fans are anticipating it.
No.
And it says Disney's Ahsoka series is set to begin production early next year. Alongside Sabine Wren, the series is set to include Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. Ahsoka will be written by Star Wars Rebels co-creator Dave Filoni, who appears to be bringing several of his animated Star Wars protagonists to live action. Filoni was also behind the creation of Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker's Padawan during the Clone Wars. The character made her live-action debut in the second season of The Mandalorian. And that's another thing. What do you think about Dave Filoni bringing in his live-action, TV shows and bringing his animated characters to those live-action TV shows?
I liked it so far. I thought they did. I was originally not like I didn't want anybody but Ashley Eckstein to play Ahsoka, because I'm like, Ashley is Ahsoka, and I was like, oh gosh, who the heck are they going to bring in to play Ahsoka now? But when I saw Rosario, I was like, wow, holy cow, that's okay. I part of me still wishes that Ahsoka could have played her, because I think she could have done really well. But the only thing, I mean, I'm a really detailed person, so the only thing that was slightly off for me was her voice, like tiny bit, but I mean, even that, I was like, it's like how some people said the CGI and for Luke in Mando Chapter 16, like it took him out of it. Like they didn't like that part, but I'm like, everything else I thought was awesome. Like her fighting style, her mannerisms, her speech, and all that. And like, I think after I watched, I watched it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times or whatever. It was, her voice wasn't an issue anymore. I mean, I could still notice it a little bit, but it was like, yeah, it's fine.
But I understand where you're coming from. You get so used to a character sounding a certain way, and you become accustomed to it, that when someone comes to play the live action version and they don't sound exactly like the voice actress, it is kind of throwing you off a little bit.
Yeah. So I would say I'm all for. I mean, if it's done right, if it's done right, I would say I'm all for bringing animated characters to live action.
And that's the thing, they have to be done right. You have to be able to recognize that, yes, it's that character.
Yep.
Not some facsimile of that character.
Yeah. So.
And, speaking of characters that may not sound like they used to when we finally do see him, is Jubilee from the continuation of the 97 X-Men series. This is coming out of Yahoo News. It says X-Men, the animated series, Jubilee voice actor says characters should be played by an PI in reboot. In other words, someone of that ethnicity, someone of that race. Now, this is just my opinion here. I don't care what the voice actor or actress looks like. I don't care what their ethnicity is. None of that. What I care about is their ability to deliver the lines that they're given for that character, to be able to emote as that character. I don't care
Yeah.
what they look like.
Right? It's called voice actor. You're not gonna see them. They're not doing. They're not. They're not putting on a mocap suit and you know. I'm like, see, this is why I know. Every time I hear something, I mean, every time I hear something new come out like this, I mean, I watched the original X-Men, when I was growing up on Saturday mornings, and yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I'm not saying that everything that comes out outside of Dave and John is going to be trash, but I'm like, I don't. I don't think I would ever be one of those guys that is like, um, oh, that's gonna be garbage. But I'm just like, I think I'm kind of more like, I hope it's good, but I'm not gonna hold my breath.
You're cautious about it.
Yeah, I'm like, especially when what they've now. If you like what they've done in Phase 4 of Marvel, I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna say, oh, you get like Marvel, because they killed off, half the cast of Loki. But I'm like, I used to be a big Marvel fan. I mean, look at my room. And I'm like, I really could care less much what they do with Marvel now, except for I think Shang-Chi was the only I watched that recently, and I think that was the only one that I was like, okay, that's not bad. I didn't like some of the stuff they put in it, but it had a very like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon type of vibe, and so I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But like as far as anything else, I just when they first introduced the multiverse, I was like, oh cool, get more possibilities, and then they did Loki, and I'm just like, uh, now they're gonna change everything and rewire everything and might make the whole it sounded like they're gonna make the whole phase 3 or whatever everything that came before kind of obsolete. Oh, that's an alternate timeline and now it's gonna be all woke. I'm like, yeah. So I'm hoping it gets better, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not holding my breath.
I mean, I'll admit, I probably am gonna watch the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye just to gather my own opinion on the series.
Hmm.
But it's not something I have to watch right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't I mean even Black Widow. I'm like I ain't paying. I'm like they had the whole $30 thing for to watch Black Widow and Cruella and all that stuff. I'm like I ain't paying $30 for to watch them. I'm like it's just me. If there's a group of like 5 of you or whatever, that wants to do it, okay, that's not so bad. You go out to the movies, you split 5 ways. Yeah, that makes more sense. But I'm like, are you kidding? Shoot, I get my movie ticket from my credit union. I don't even pay full price for a regular movie ticket. Um, I'm like, I'm like when I saw the regular movie ticket was like $13 or whatever it was. It's like $13. It's highway robbery. I get it from my credit union. I don't even pay $10 for it. So Yeah, I'm like, yeah, wait.
Yeah, and I waited until it became free for all the subscribers on Disney Plus,
Yep.
and I watched Black Widow, and I didn't like it too much.
Yeah.
I thought the jokes were, corny and cheesy, and it just got me thinking, that's all Marvel has become under Disney is joke after joke after joke.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I'm sorry, a character like Black Widow, I would think they would take it down a more serious tone.
Could have been a. It felt out of. I remember watching it, and I'm like, I thought. I mean, Black Widow was awesome, and in my opinion, was it Winter Soldier was. I'm like, that was my Black Widow movie. So I'm like, see, this is. I see too much of. Let's make the white guy look dumb in modern movies, and I'm just like, can we not? Because I don't think we like being made dumb either.
No, we don't.
Can we just can we just have a rule? Like, don't make anybody look dumb or stupid or dumb.
Yeah, give me a character. I don't care who plays that character as long as they're good in that role. But give me a character I can actually watch and cheer on and go, yes.
All day long, all day long.
I,
Yeah.
I want to see a character, male, female, whatever, go through that hero's journey. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I think Ray was saying. I think Ray was actually speaking about the writers or the directors when she said, "Be with me, be with me." They're not with me.
No, I don't think the writers were. I honestly don't.
Yeah. Like I said, no offense to. Like I said, it takes a lot for me to come out and say anything, bad about a movie because I'm like, I take it under the assumption that people that are working on these things are putting their heart and soul into it, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna. I think like the first Marvel movie in Phase 3 I didn't like was Iron Man 3, and I was like, even then I didn't come out on social media and say, "Oh, this movie's garbage. It's terrible. Writers should, go jump in a lake." Or I'm like, I think I might have expressed my opinion to like a couple of my close friends. I didn't even post about it online. I don't think. And so I'm like, it's so something's bad if I say something about it. But I'm like, even then, I'm just like, unless I know that they really didn't try, that they're like, yeah, whatever, we're not gonna, do our best. We're just gonna, here's some stuff, and here's some stuff, and there's your movie. I'm like, unless I know that they're not really, they're just slacking off and they're not really trying. I mean, even then, I'm like, dude, I mean, come on now.
Yep, I'm in that same boat.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we're old school. I don't know. Maybe we just like good storytelling. Whether we get it
No.
from I know, point out the obvious. I do that well. I do that well. You
I
come to
want
find
crap
I do that well.
storytelling. Dang nabbit, I want bad storytelling. When are we ever gonna get bad storytelling?
Watch Star Trek Discovery. You'll get plenty of bad storytelling.
It's so much to ask for a bad movie. I just want to sit down and cringe. That's all I want, man.
Oh, that's all I've been hearing from people who have watched Cowboy Bebop on Netflix. That's cringe.
I I get I canceled Netflix way before Cuties happened. I have a general rule: if I scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and I don't find anything, I'm like, why am I paying for this? I'm scrolling for like 5 minutes or whatever. I'm like, why am I paying for this? Bye.
And see, the only show I'd want to watch on Netflix is season 4 of Cobra Kai when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Because that series paid respect to previous characters while introducing new characters into a brand new setting and story.
Yep.
But, I don't want to pay for Netflix anymore. I don't want to pay $10 for it. I don't want to pay $20 for it. Because, there's too many streaming services out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, getting back to this article, it says the original voice actress for the 90s X-Men, the animated series, will not be returning to reprise her role as X-Men member Jubilee in the reboot. And, Allison Court, who was the original voice actress, says, fully support this with one caveat. I will not voice Jubilee. It was an honor to bring life and voice to such an iconic character in the original series, but I know far too many talented young Asian actors who would do Jubilee justice now. Still, while would love to be a part, and you see, why should she have to feel the need to even say, I'm not going to voice this character? Because, again, like we've already said, voice actors, you could be of any ethnicity and you can voice any character. Nobody cares about, what you look like. They care about how you deliver the lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially with a voice actor.
I'll bring up a perfect example because I didn't know this until I started watching, convention videos about 12 years ago where I actually saw him for the first time. The voice actor for the original Destro in G.I. Joe, Arthur Burgess. He's a black man. I didn't care. He brought the character of Destro to life. He brought many other characters to life.
No. Yep. Yeah, I mean that's. I feel like I've heard that I feel like I've heard that for other actors too. I mean, shoot, James Earl Jones did Vader.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and I can't imagine anyone else doing the voice of Vader except James Earl Jones.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And this article goes on to say, although some fans were disappointed on November 12th or Disney Plus Day, Court tweeted, ready for some fireworks, which sparked new hope and confusion. She explained further in another tweet that both she and Jubilee are returning, but vaguely confirmed that she's involved with the show. And goes on to say, those two things don't have to be one and the same. And then it says, let's see, as well, never mind. So that's pretty much all that story was about, was that Allison Court's not returning to the role of Jubilee, even though she's the original voice actress. Again, it'd be like if they brought back the 1980s G.I. Joe, brought back Destro, and had someone else other than Arthur Burgess voicing the character Destro. It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Because if you see that 80s incarnation of Destro, you're expecting that voice, his voice, to come out.
Yeah. I guess it's. I mean, yeah. I think I'm one of those. I think I'm one of the people. I'm like, I won't straight up write off, a decision, like that. But I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, they got so and so to do the voice. Oh, it's gonna be great. But I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of people that didn't like what's his face, Michael Keaton,
Mm-hmm.
when they cast him as Batman. So I'm like, didn't like Affleck for for Batman either. But I have to when Ben did that line, do you bleed? I'm like, oh my gosh, that was awesome.
Yeah, that
That
was
was,
a well delivered line.
yeah,
He did it well.
yeah. It was. I thought he was in my opinion, I thought he was a great Batman. Dark, brooding. I mean, you know. So yeah.
And I'm gonna bring up one of the main topics of discussion for tonight. Let me just pull up the article here. And this is from Bounty in the Comics, and it says Hawkeye actor Jeremy Renner reveals standoff with Marvel over demand for more time to spend with daughter. I said, fine, recast me. And this is by Spencer McCauley. It was released yesterday. And it
Wait,
says,
what?
this article is released on Bounty in the Comics yesterday.
Yep.
So it says, according to actor Jeremy Renner, his demand for more contractually obligated time to spend with his young daughter led to a standoff with Marvel, which saw him refuse to back down, even in the face of potentially being recast as Hawkeye across the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, I mean, they recast Brody. Terrence Howard was the original Brody.
All right. That
And
actually did. I mean, that actually didn't bother me because I heard. Well, I mean, I heard some things about the actor that he was like he wanted more money than Robert Downey Jr. and I thought Don Cheadle was. I mean, I thought they were both good, but I mean, if it's true that he wanted more money than the lead actor, I'm like, dude, you're the sidekick. I mean, no offense, but you know.
well, that's like Kristen Dunst coming out and saying that she should have been paid more money than Tobey Maguire in the Spider-Man movies.
Wow.
Well, I'm sorry, this movie isn't about Mary Jane. It's
Yeah,
about Peter Parker Spider-Man.
yeah. Huh. That I didn't know about. Wow.
Yeah, it came out in an article last week.
Oh wow.
And in this article, it says Renner revealed how his prioritizing of his relationship with his daughter led to a butting of heads with Disney and Marvel during a recent interview with Men's Health published on November 17th of this year. It says, speaking with staff reporter Alex, and I cannot say that last name. Even if I tried, I won't be able to say it, so I'm just going to say Alex. Renner recalled how after his then girlfriend, now ex-wife, Sonny Pascio, I'm probably butchering that name, gave birth to their daughter, Ava Berlin Renner, he realized that he needed to spend more than just a few hours in between work and travel with his newborn daughter. Negotiating with Marvel taught me how to have nuts to say, everyone F off. It's my time with my daughter, Renner told Men's Health. Goes on to say, however, his demand for a contract more welcoming to fostering a relationship with his daughter was apparently far from easy, as the actor noted that various individuals close to him warned that his refusal to budge on his demands could lead to Marvel firing him. A potential which did little to even begin to budge his fatherly convictions. Goes on to say, I said, fine, recast me. I'm going to be here with my daughter. It was pretty gnarly. In the end, as described in the Men's Health article, his determination paid off. Now Renner insists on being able to visit Ava or have her visit every weekend on every project if the producers balk, he passes. Concluding his thoughts on how important his relationship with Ava is, Renner humorously asserted, acting and everything else goes out the window until my daughter says, I want to hang out with my friends and I don't want to be around you so much, Daddy. I never knew that resting face I have could be beautiful, Renner admitted in a response to the observance of his bright demeanor when discussing his daughter. It's not on me, it's on her, on Ava. And it says, to further drive home just how important Ava is to Renner, fans need to look no further than the rapid fire portion of his interview. Asked by Men's Health about the last time you cried, Renner quickly fired back, yesterday. My daughter brought me home her spelling test. He added, aced, 100%.
Nice.
Okay, so
Yeah, good for him.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, it's. I remember when I always been wanting to develop my own video games and stuff, and I remember, back in the days, some people were saying that some people were saying that, you should go work for a video game company or whatever. I'm like, one, I don't want to make their video games. I want to make mine. And two, I'm like, they work you like a dog. Just I heard of people getting burned out. They worked for like, these big name game companies. They work like, I don't know, 70, 80 or plus hours a week. Like they don't even get to go home. They don't even, I mean, I get it. There's a deadline or whatever, but I'm like, I don't like that kind of pressure to have to basically have no life whatsoever. And so, like, I know of people that, or I've heard of people that got burnout from it, just from, working so hard. So I'm like, good for him. Honestly,
yeah.
and I'm like, what are they gonna do? Recast Hawkeye as? I think that would be a seriously bad decision for Marvel. I mean, they're already kind of in the tank with just some of the. I mean, at least with me, anyways. But it's with the stuff they've been coming out lately. It just Eternals looked. I saw the trailer for Eternals, and I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, that was my response too. It's like,
I'm like,
okay, what's this about?
right? I mean, after seeing Endgame, and then the first thing I remembering is these colors look totally bland, and then you got the forced, agenda pushing woke nonsense. I'm like, oh, here it comes, and I'm just like, eh. And then I'd almost be curious, like how much. I mean, think about it. I mean, what do you think would happen to Marvel if this came out that they're like, yeah, we're recasting Hawkeye because the actor wants to spend more time with his daughter? Ooh, Ooh,
that would have derailed the movies. I mean, think
that
about it.
that would not be a good look for them.
No,
Like, yeah, like do you want to sound cold hearted? Because that's how you sound cold hearted.
yeah, I mean, everybody would look at Disney, not that they're not doing it already, but they would look at them
Yeah,
and say, you're supposed to be a company that's all about their
family friend.
families.
Ha ha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would have looked at them differently. I mean, they are looking at them differently too. Let
yeah,
me reiterate that. And
yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, they got enough damage control as it is. I mean, I remember watching Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi or whatever, and I'm like, the only way I could watch it was to treat it like a standalone movie, because I'm glad they didn't. I'm actually glad they didn't have a lot of tie-ins. They had like a couple little tie-ins, but for the most part, it felt like it could be a standalone movie, and like that's the only movie I liked in Phase Four right now, or any content basically in Phase Four, um, except for the dynamic between Loki and Owen. I thought was really good. Until they killed him off, man, brought him back. So yeah, but I am, yeah, on the off chance that Mr. Renner ever sees this video, more power to you.
mhm.
Or hey, if
Now,
you're watching live right now,
yeah, more power to you. I mean, I am gonna watch the first two episodes of Hawkeye, and I'll probably do some sort of review on this channel. It may not be a detailed review. It may just be me going, watch it, or something
yeah,
along those lines. But I tend to give my honest take whenever I watch something and give it in a video, whether it's a movie, a TV show, or even when I'm doing Chicago Cubs recaps. I tend to give my honest take
yep, yeah,
because that's what people want. They want to see someone who's genuine, someone who's real. They don't want to see someone put on a face like, "Hey, welcome to Pop Talk. How you doing, everybody?"
oh my gosh, Hawkeye is the best it's ever.
Yeah, yeah. They, they don't want somebody who's phony. I don't want to
Yeah,
watch somebody who's phony. I don't.
yeah.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't like seeing videos where the first few seconds somebody's all, "Hey," it's like, uh, bye.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, wait a minute, there are more. I keep scrolling. I keep finding more.
Yeah,
Or YouTube
yeah,
keeps recommending more of those same type of videos. Stop.
yeah, yep.
But yeah. Now, have you seen the new Ghostbusters movie?
I haven't. I
Okay.
mean, I never really got much into Ghostbusters, but I mean, I saw the first one, and every time, almost every time someone says, doesn't matter the time or the subject, the place or anything, someone says, I mean, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
And it became popular, especially back
Yeah,
in '84.
I saw uh I don't think I heard of Ghostbusters 2, but I don't think I ever watched it. And
Some people like it, some people don't. Me,
yeah,
it's a middle of the road movie. I still like it
yeah,
because it's a Ghostbusters movie, but there are some flaws to it.
yeah. Um, but yeah, it's I've heard good and bad about Ghostbusters, but uh I heard it was better than The 2016, I guess.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment because after watching Afterlife, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful tribute to Harold Ramis,
mm,
and it
yeah,
was
I mean,
a beautiful tribute to his character. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil it
no.
for anybody who hasn't seen it.
I mean, saying it's better than Ghostbusters 2016. I mean, that's not saying much, but
Nah, but I'll tell you something. When you get a group of people who are in their mid to late 30s, early 40s, 50s, and 60s, all in one theater, and we're all kind of going,
yep, 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 yeah.
and what was funny is all of us in that age group were sniffling and we're tearing up, and the kids are kind of looking at us and even laughing at us, going, "What is wrong with you guys? You don't
And
understand."
and yet they'll be the ones crying over Toy Story.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
really.
just saying. Yeah.
I mean, I highly recommend it. Even if you're not much of a Ghostbusters fan, at least give it a chance. If you end up liking it, cool. If you don't like it, still after seeing it, well, at least you gave it a chance.
Yep. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's. I'll probably watch it once they like have it to rent or whatever. But
Yep.
I don't even know if movie theaters are open near me, or if they require certain
My
things
my
to go.
theater, it did require the mask, but they weren't enforcing it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I if I'm gonna if I'm gonna go out and see a movie, I'm not putting up with any of that nonsense. I'm like,
I don't blame you.
yeah. I'm like, if for something that I'm mildly interested in, but yeah, I'll probably rent it. I'll probably rent it once it comes out. But yeah,
Well, especially with the way things are now, Venom, I believe, is already out there on digital to be rented and stuff. So probably
yeah,
within a few weeks, Afterlife will be.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight because there was an article, and yes, it does reveal some spoilers, but out of respect for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, I don't really want to spoil anything because this article does spoil it. But you still have people that are upset that this Ghostbusters movie is doing better than 2016's. Well, that's because this movie has a connection to a sequel that came out in 1989.
And also because it didn't suck.
Yeah, yeah, no, it didn't. And I will say this. I will say this. I don't think this is going to be much of a spoiler. That the main female character isn't a Mary Sue.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm not going to say why she's not a Mary Sue, but I'm just going to say she isn't a Mary Sue.
Yeah. Yep.
And I do want to go see this movie again. Now, whether I go out to the theater and see it again, or if I wait for it to come out on digital, that'll be up to me.
No.
But I will go see it again. So let me see what other article I can put up. Ah, here's one. Because I was going to go to their website tonight anyway. All right, so Rotten Tomatoes. What's your thought on Rotten Tomatoes, Green Lantern?
I think it's rotten. No. I don't know. It is what it is. I honestly haven't thought about it much, but I think it's okay. I don't. I mean, if I like a movie and they don't like a movie, I'm still gonna like a movie. But if I don't like a movie and they don't like a movie, I'm like, okay. But it's not like, if Rotten Tomatoes says a movie's terrible, then I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go see it. I'm like, so yeah.
Okay, because they've ranked all the 13 Star Trek movies, and this is where they rank them. Number 13, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. It's bad, but I don't think it's number 13 bad.
Yeah.
Nemesis, they rank at number 12. I think I would move that where they have another movie, and that would be the number 10 spot. Because in the number 11 spot, they have Star Trek The Motion Picture. Again, I don't think it's that bad. But Generations, I wouldn't necessarily rank it at 10. I'd actually rank it at 9, where they have Star Trek Insurrection. And at number 8, a movie that Master Paul, Brandon the Anime Guy, Spock's Friday Nights, the Nerdtorial Life Form, and Lord Crit and myself reviewed on Tuesday Night Trek last night. Well, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Now, honestly, that's not number 8. It's actually a little higher. That's number 4 in my book. The Voyage Home. In my book, that's number 3. They have it ranked at number 7. Now this is where it irks me. They have one of my other favorite movies of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek 6, ranked at number 6. For me, it's The Wrath of Khan first, and then The Undiscovered Country. Meanwhile, they have Star Trek Into Darkness at number 5. I'm sorry, I would rank that lower because it's just a ripoff of The Wrath of Khan. They have Star Trek Beyond at number 4. They have The Wrath of Khan at number 3. I'm sorry, but no. No. That is the number 1 Star Trek movie. I don't care who you are. That is the number 1 Star Trek movie. Not just my opinion. There's plenty of other people you can ask that opinion of. And number 3, oh no. Yeah. I could curse, rant, and rave, but I'll save it. First Contact. No, First Contact isn't a number 2. I'm sorry. Yes, it has the Borg in it, but looking back at it now, it's not number 2. Where is it? You could almost say it's a number 7 out of the 13 films. And no, The Wrath of Khan is number 1. Star Trek 2009 belongs on the bottom of the list. It's not a number 1 movie, not in my opinion. And okay, I'll admit, it is based on the fact that I've seen 10 Star Trek movies before the J.J. Abrams films were even thought about. And I already had my own list of, what's my number 1 and what's at the bottom of the list. But to say that Star Trek 2009 is number one out of all the Star Trek movies. Yeah, it may have been more successful than a lot of the previous Star Trek movies before it was released, but you also have to consider inflation too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Star Trek 2009 at number one, no. That's a no from me.
Yeah. Yep. Never really got into Star Trek that much, but I actually liked JJ's first Star Trek movie, but number one out of everything. Mm,
1 out of 13? No.
I
No.
mean, I thought it was pretty good, but yeah, I saw Wrath-Khan a long time ago, and yeah, I would say that a lot of people hold that as number one. Um, yeah,
Well, what was great about that movie is they took a villain from the original series, Khan from Space Seed, and they brought him up to date
yep,
because that movie was released back in 1982. And Ricardo Montalban, he had to watch the episode several times to get back into character, but once he did, every scene he's in, it's beautiful.
hmm,
And
yeah,
maybe I'm showing my own personal bias because that's the number one movie on my list. But even watching it before last week's Tuesday Night Treks, you know, I'm watching it going, gosh, this is one good movie, one fine movie. If you want to write an essay on this movie, go ahead.
yeah, yep, yeah,
I mean, that's how I feel about the original Star Wars movie. It's a very good movie.
yep,
And you consider all the hurdles that George Lucas had to go through in order to get it made, and how he negotiated his contract for all the rights.
yeah, yep.
That was extraordinary what he did, because it was unheard of back then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So let me try to find another article on my list. Already talked about that. Well, kind of talk about that, but that would also give away spoilers. So let's go ahead and talk about one of the things I wanted to talk about, and that was Amazon's Lord of the Rings.
Oh good lord.
And this is coming from Variety. Amazon Lord of the Rings series sets first UK filming locations exclusive. And this article is by Minori. I can't pronounce that last name. Sorry. But anyways, it says one of the biggest productions to hit the UK in years is gearing up to film outside London next spring. Variety can reveal season 2 of Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings, which grabbed international headlines when the streaming player moved locations from New Zealand to the UK, has set its first filming locations. The move, which was a major upset for New Zealand production sector, is especially momentous given the UK relocation marks the first time any of the modern Lord of the Rings live action on screen projects have been produced outside of New Zealand, including The Hobbit. And it goes on to say sources close to the production say Brave Film Studios and Bovington Airfield will be the initial production facilities used to film this big budget series. Pre-production is set to begin in the second quarter of 2022. It says based in Maidenhead to the west of London, Brave Film Studios boasts almost 54,000 square feet and 183 square foot backlot, Mamma Mia and Rocketman are among productions to have used the studio, as well as the series Bodyguard and Dracula. Meanwhile, the Bovington Airfield to the northwest of London in Hertfordshire has 60 acres of open land. Movies filmed include Justice League, Fast and the Furious 6, while ITV Studios also has a facility on the premises where entertainment juggernaut Dancing on Ice is filmed. Okay, it goes on to say, as is expected for such a sprawling production, more filming locations for Lord of the Rings will be scouted in time. Amazon confirmed earlier this year that season 1 will debut globally on the streamer on September 2nd, 2022, with episodes rolling out on a weekly basis. The show was picked up for multiple seasons when it was first ordered back in 2017. Filming on season 1, which is rumored to cost around 450 million. Ouch. In comparison, the combined budget for Peter Jackson's 3 original films was 281 million, wrapped on August 2nd, though post-production will continue in New Zealand through June 2022. Amazon is closely guarding plot details around the series, including its official title. All that is known is that the show takes place during the so-called Second Age, thousands of years prior to the events of both the Lord of the Rings books and The Hobbit. The series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared reemergence of evil to Middle Earth. Cast members include Sir Lenny Henry, Mordecai Clark, Peter Mullen, Joseph Mull, and Robert Amayo. Goes on to say, speaking to Variety as part of an in-depth story on the UK production, it goes on to say that Dan Grabreiner, head of originals at Amazon Studios UK, said, I think the move to the UK speaks to the depth of talent here and the reputation, the skills, infrastructure. It is a large production. To make an operation like that work, you need world-class people and world-class talents working on it. The Lord of the Rings shoot is gearing up just as Amazon's further embeds in UK production landscape. Temple shows such as Good Omens, Asani Boys, and Citadel, along with The Power, all film around the UK. Also calling the UK home are forthcoming dramas The Rig, The Devil's Hour, and Jungle. The Lord of the Rings series is led by showrunners and executive producers J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. They are joined by executive producers Lindsay Weber, Caleb Green, J.A. Benua, and it says who is also a director on the series, Belen Benza, Justin Doble, Jason Cahill, Jennifer Hutchinson, Bruce Richmond, and Sharon Tai. And it says co-executive producer and director Wayne Chi Yip, director Charlotte Brandstorm, and producer Christopher Newman. Ron Ames is co-producer. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say that the reason why they moved the production from New Zealand to the UK is based solely on what's happening in Australia and New Zealand. That's the main reason why, in my opinion, they removed the production. I could be wrong, but that's my take.
I honestly hadn't given the TV series any thought, because I'm like the one when you said it was set to be set in the second age, basically. I'm like, so that means if it sucks, we don't have to tie it with the original.
Yeah. How could you not draw that conclusion?
Yeah, like yay!
Oh, good. So, if you guys, like you're saying, screw this up royally, we can just go on our merry way.
Yeah, as a fan fiction, you know,
A badly written fan fiction.
right? I find it funny that what did they say they spent like 400 million or whatever.
Yeah, 485 million.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, good grief. I honestly feel like
What's
it's
gonna happen if people don't watch it?
uh,
That's 485 million down the drain.
Amazon's ain't gonna be too happy. I mean, if they come out and make like Aragorn female or whatever, I'm like, nope, that didn't happen. Mm-mm. That did not happen. This is why I will say to everyone out there, kids, get yourself a hard copy of any movie that you like. Yeah, I'm
I
like,
mean,
you don't.
with this going on, kids, get yourself a copy of the books. Get yourself
Right?
a copy of the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And forget about Amazon series.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, until I hear something good out of this, like, I mean, this is coming from someone who wasn't bothered that Legolas was in The Hobbit. I'm like, was he in the book? No, but in that world, was he still alive? I think so. I mean, what? How old is Legolas? I mean, he's an elf, so he's like. I mean, he's probably still alive.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, yeah, I was fine with that. So I'm like, this is my money doesn't make a good movie. Passion does.
Passion in the writing, passion in the acting, passion in the
Yeah,
production.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, like you're saying, you could throw bukus and bukus of dollars around for a production, but if the writing's not good, the acting's not good, nobody's gonna want to watch it.
yeah. I mean, what was it? The sequel trilogy was very like it had a lot of good like visually there was a lot of good visual effects in it, I think. As far as the story went, it's
Yeah, it petered out.
yeah. I still remember that part in Last Jedi when they did the freaking took apart the ship with another ship, and that was, I thought, for me, that I thought it was really cool. But then they went and said, "Yep, I'm Ray Palpatine. Yep, there it is. There it is." It's like, uh, I'm like, I honestly liked her better when she was a nobody. There was so much more you could do with the character, but they're like, nope, nope, Ray Palpatine. Yep, there it is. Yep, there you go.
Well, to kill Snoke in The Last Jedi, it's like, okay, so you introduced this character in the first movie, and you would think in the second movie we'd learn more about him, but no.
Nope.
No. It's
Yeah.
like, you guys had no plan. You guys had absolutely no plan.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping that the all this talk that Lord of the Rings is going to be woke gets fixed or something, or they see that people just don't are getting fed up with all the politics being shoved down, being crammed into the movies. And I mean, like I said, with Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy and everything, the investors are only gonna take so much, woke and go broke before they're like, quit it with shoving your agenda into our movies. We'd like to make money, not, I'm like, if you want to go have a political agenda, that's your choice, but it's the entertainment industry, not the protest industry.
Yeah, it's like Alex Kurtzman saying that he's going to use Discovery as a platform. I'm sorry, Alex, but Star Trek has always been able to express a certain point of view, but it's also given its viewers the option to step back and look at two sides and not just look at one side.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah.
And by the way, I just added your link to your YouTube channel to the description. So if anybody wants to subscribe to Goggles and Gadgets, click on the link below.
Awesome. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. It's great when I have people on here and, I'm able to get other people's opinions on an article I've read or, just something that we want to talk about. And yes, like I said, we do get a little silly on here, but it's all about having fun.
You should see my channel. Check out you think you guys could say, I mean, you should check out the episode 2 highlight reel video. We did improv for 20 minutes.
I've seen part of it, and Paul actually mentioned it last night on Tuesday Night Trek, but I'll definitely watch it.
I clipped out the highlight is about it's about 10 minutes because I wanted to put it on Echo Base TV, but yeah, we went on for like 20 minutes, so it was it was a lot of fun.
Well, even last night, as we're talking about this, we did start going off the rails a little bit. I mean, I was part of the problem. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
But, that's what having these panels are about, is having fun. And you don't want to be serious all the time where the audience is tuning in and going, okay, I'm bored, I'm moving on.
Right.
That's why I try to have fun.
Yeah.
Now, I will admit, with that being said, getting back to when I recap Cub games, yeah, I am serious sometimes when I give it, especially if I'm giving my take, because I want people to understand why a player doing certain things isn't what you want to see them do. So yeah, I will be serious about it. But something like this, I want to have fun, and anyone who comes on, I want them to be able to just let their hair down, so to speak, and feel relaxed.
Yep.
Not, feel like, okay, I'm the new guy here. There must be some sort of pecking order. No, there's no pecking order.
No. No.
You come on, and if there's, something that you've read that's bothering you, well, the floor is yours. Say what you need to say.
Yeah. Yep.
So, with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show for tonight. I want to thank everybody who stopped by. I want to thank, of course, you, Green Lantern 345, for coming on. I want to thank the Smoking Patriot for coming on. I want to thank Leia Rose for stopping by, Star Wars Theory for stopping by, Godzillionaire. We'll go ahead and highlight those folks. Even though they're not here now, they were here before, and I want to acknowledge them. And of course, Darius Munchausen. We had Alan Copeland. We, of course, had the Star Wars guys. And let's see who else. Let's see. Anyone else? Of course, Spock stopped by before his stream. So, yes, I want to thank all of you who stopped by. If you like what you saw here, give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. Subscribe to Green Lantern 345. I will put his link up again. There we go. Let's get him to 100 subscribers. Check out his channel. Watch his videos. You'll have a lot of fun. Hello, Coffee on Korriban. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Coffee?
Good to see you.
One thing before we wrap up, I would like to mention, for anybody watching this on the replay, or Coffee, I know you said you're already interested, but I am looking to do an improv episode on December 16th, and if you're interested, either comment in the comment section below of this video, or I don't know, say it now, I guess, or something. But yeah, I like doing improv. I like doing fan stories and fun, either stuff to make people laugh or having like cool adventures and things with. But yeah, that's. If anyone's interested in being a part of that episode, the improv episode is gonna be on the 16th of December, and so yeah.
All right, looking forward to it. I mean, heck, I'll go ahead and say I'll be there.
Awesome.
I don't know how my comedic skills are going to be, but we'll find out. I'll make sure to keep everything, PG rated.
Okay, so one tip for, and especially if anyone is interested in it, don't feel like you have to be good, because I mean, we're all amateurs anyways. But the one thing I will say, when I do comedy improv, one thing I do is like take a totally ridiculous scenario and act like it's like the first one we did on the channel was, what if if you believe that, I got a bridge site in Brooklyn, and so we took the scenario of oh my gosh. No, 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 no. I believe the word you're searching for is ninja. Say it with me, ninja.
Here, I thought you went to the dark side.
It blends, so sue me.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
But so I take a ridiculous scenario and act like it's like we took. What if you were actually trying to sell the Brooklyn Bridge and act like it's yeah, I'm gonna go get you for that, boy. I take a totally ridiculous scenario and act like it's really happening. Like another one I thought of, like the nursery rhyme or whatever, the lady that lived in the shoe. Like take the scenario. What if a lady actually had like a whole bunch of kids and she literally lived in a shoe? And just like put yourself in that scenario and just be like, I don't know what's, my neighbor, she's got a size 12 shoe, but she's got 14 kids. I mean, you, you don't put, you don't, if you
Don't put
got
too much
14,
thought into it. Just have fun with it.
no, it's, no, you put thought into it, but you're like, you go into that scenario with saying totally ridiculous stuff where it's like, if you got 14 kids, you need a size 14 shoe. I mean, that's common knowledge, I mean, you don't. So it's stuff like that where you're like I made a bit about the improvements I did on the bridge, and I said, I get a fresh coat of paint. I mean, I used 2.25-inch screws. I didn't use 3-inch because I know that you don't use 3-inch screws on a bridge. It's just not done. So it's use the 2.25, 3-inch, but I don't know. It's been on the market for like 3 months. I got the rust off. New coat of paint, but I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. That's what it's that's kind of how I do it. So, but so yeah, you kind of have to go a little crazy, but the fun kind of crazy. So yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and mark me down for the 16th. I'll be there.
All right. Yeah, we'll do. Cool.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'll make sure to promote it like crazy on Twitter and all my social
Appreciate it.
media pages. And
Yep. Yeah.
all right. Well, again, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you to everybody who stopped by. Coffee on Corbin, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing another episode of Pop Talk on Sunday or if I might be streaming a game. I don't know. I haven't streamed Grand Theft Auto 3 in a few weeks, so I might do that. We'll see. Sunday is pretty much up in the air. But you can follow me on social media. I will show the links here in just a second. Let me get to them real quick. I have so many other people's links on here from when I've had other people that I've got to find mine.
Mm.
Let's see. Here we go. Here's mine. You can follow and subscribe to the Pacific414 YouTube channel. I also have a Twitch channel, and in case you want to find me on Twitch, but you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Pacific414. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pacific414. You can also find me on Instagram, instagram.com Pacific_414. And then you can also find me on Discord. All those links are in the description below. So, come on by the Discord. We'll talk. Yes. I'm going to say it now. You probably will see some baseball news pop up here in the off season because I do try to keep up with that, but I don't keep up with it like I used to. But still, it's part of the channel, so I will probably mention something about it. And speaking of something baseball related, probably next Saturday around 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be having an episode of the Box Score Mountain Visit with fellow YouTuber Whoopa Troopa. Some of you may know him. And we will actually be talking about the upcoming 2022 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. Who we think is going to be going in, who we think's not going to be deserving of the call to Cooperstown. So look forward to that. And of course, more episodes of Pop Talk, more episode reviews, some movie reviews. I've just got to put a few things together, but that's what's coming up on the channel. And Green Lantern, if you have anything else that you want to plug, now's the time.
No, I think I'm good for right now.
Right.
So yeah.
All right. And also, I do want to say, because I know in these headlines that I put, Ghostbusters Outrage, of course, I'll go ahead and post the link to those articles in case anybody wants to read them. But again, with respect to people who haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, I don't really want to spoil it, but for anyone who has seen it, I'll go ahead and put that link in the description, and you can go ahead and read it there. We'll also put it in the comment section as well. So there you are. Here's the link. So you can go ahead and read it there. And until next time, everybody, have a good night. Have a happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. And as always, take care.